The AQA English language exams are changing. If you're taking the 2026 exams or later, you'll need to master a new type of multiple choice question for Paper 1 Question 1. In this video, I'll break down exactly what's changing, how to tackle it, and mistakes to avoid. Paper 1 Question 1 is a 4-mark question assessing the first part of AO1 to identify and interpret explicit and implicit information and ideas. It's a multiple choice question based on the opening of the text and will look something like this. Read again the first part of the source from lines 1 to 6, answer all 4 parts of the question, tick 1 box for each question. Now, as you can see, there will be 4 parts to question 1. For each part, you're given 3 different options. Your job is to tick the correct one each time. Now, the question here is based on an extract that you can download free through following the link in the description. The best thing to do is to reread the lines in the question, in our example, lines 1 to 6, and to work through the questions one by one. Simple? Well, maybe not. Let's first read through the lines, then I'll explain what might make this question difficult. For a short time I walked slowly on, determined to stick to my path until I came out onto the safety of the country road, but it began to dawn on me that I should as likely as not become very quickly lost once I had left the straightness of the causeway, and might wander all night in exhaustion. The most obvious and sensible course was to turn and retrace my steps the few hundred yards I'd come, and to wait at the house until either the mist cleared or Keckwick arrived to fetch me, or both. So is this not just an easy question? Well, another multiple choice question assessing AO1 can be found in Paper 2 Question 1, and if that's anything to go by, there will be some mistakes to avoid. Some answers will be explicit, meaning they are directly stated in the text. So for example, 1.1, how long did the narrator walk slowly on? We know the correct answer is for a short time when we read the text and it says for a short time I walked slowly on. This is explicit because the phrase is clearly given in the text. However, some incorrect answers might be worded very similarly to the text. For example, 1.3, why does the narrator hesitate to leave the causeway? Now, the first option here is they are exhausted, but if you chose this answer, you'd be wrong. The text doesn't say the narrator's exhausted. It says they realized they might get lost and become exhausted wandering all night. Now, this type of wording isn't the exam board trying to trick you. A careful and close reading of the text is what AO1 is all about. You should read through all 3 statements before selecting any to avoid mistakenly choosing an early statement which appears to be true but isn't. Take your time with this question. There can be a tendency with exam nerves to rush the first question in any paper, but you don't need to do that. If we allow 15 minutes to read the extract, that gives you 90 minutes to gain a maximum potential of 80 marks, which means you should spend around 1 minute per mark available on each question. So with question 1, you can afford to spend around 5 minutes on it, and that means you've got enough time to reread the lines, go through each question, and methodically and carefully look at the wording as you go. These questions can also test your vocabulary. In 1.4, what does the narrator decide to do instead of continuing on? The correct answer is go back. But nowhere in the text is the phrase go back used. This requires a student to read the phrase turn and retrace my steps and understand that what that means is to go back. This highlights an important challenge with this type of multiple choice question. The correct answer may not always be word for word matching the text. Instead, you might need to apply your knowledge of synonyms and paraphrasing, and in addition to carefully reading the lines stated in the text, you also need to be prepared to think about alternative ways an idea can be expressed. If none of the options, for example, seem to be true, you can look at them and ask yourself which of these is saying the same thing as the text, just in a different way. Finally, it's also possible that this question will test implicit knowledge as well as explicit. Implicit points are not directly stated but can be inferred from the context or clues in the text, and I go through examples of implicit ideas in this video here on screen, which is a guide to Paper 2 Question 1, so do check that out next. Now, if you want more help with this, I've updated my language revision guide. The 3rd edition contains everything you need to know. It's available through Amazon as a paperback or an ebook edition, an instant download at mrbruff.com. And in fact, you can get the ebook for free when you buy the Literature and Power and Conflict ebooks at mrbruff.com if you look for this bundle. So those are ebooks. They download instantly to your device, your phone, your computer, whatever it is. If you want a paperback, that's exclusively on Amazon. Thank you for watching.